Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I'm back. Thank you for your support. I am recovering just fine. So, what I want to talk about today is, the main thing I want to talk about today is this. And I know I didn't quite put it in my post where it's like very detailed like I normally do. So this is what I'm going to talk about. I don't know if y'all knew this. Thank you, Mark 5, CEO of Sedora Radio. This is what I want to share. And I don't think a lot of people know this. And I'm going to say this. I was watching TV one day, and the gentleman that I was watching shared this for everybody to see. And here's the thing. I don't watch regular TV. I watch other kind of stuff on TV. But anyway, do y'all know that each pharmaceutical company that has or was approved by the FDA for the COVID-19 vaccine, was y'all aware that each one of these companies had their own, hey Mayo, had their own terms and conditions? And here's the thing, it's a public document. They put it out there, but the media didn't talk about it. And I don't recall none of the medical powers that be talking about the terms and conditions that this public document of the pharmaceutical companies put out there. So when I heard this, the guy said anybody could find it, and he types in where you could find it. Little old me, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just go see. Is this really a public document? So I typed it in and I found it. Anybody can find these documents. So I want to share these documents with you. Radio Land, you can't see it, but Facebook, you're going to be able to see it. So I'm going to show you where to find these documents, because once I saw first of all, when I first saw this, there was a whole list of health conditions that should not receive the vaccine. So this morning, I tried to find that document again. I can't find it, but I did find the terms and conditions document. So I want to share, let's hope I can share this with y'all. Radio Land, just bear with me for a minute, because I want to share something. Radio Land, because you can't see me, what you can do is you can tune in with me on Facebook. All you got to do is type in my name, Carolyn Huber Black. Hi, Steve. Carolyn Huber Black. And just ask to be my friend. So every time I go live and do the radio show, you could tune in with me and you can see the documents that I be showing. So here's one of the documents, Facebook. It's a little bit delayed, but it'll come up. There it is. So this one is Pfizer Biotech. Now I want to scroll down so y'all can see exactly what I'm looking at. Let me black this out because y'all need to see my little happy face. Let me go black out. Okay, now, because that was in my way, I want to show y'all, is this the right document? Hold on, bear with me, y'all. That's not it. Okay, there's actually two of these documents. This is one. So once I show you this, and I'm gonna have to read it because Radio Land can't see it, but Facebook, you can see me. So And when I first saw one of these documents and it had like a listing, like this long list of health conditions, I'm like, wow, a lot of people didn't have to die. A lot of people could have been saved, especially if they knew about the underlying conditions. So here we go. Myocarditis, pericarditis. Both of these has to do with the heart. One is the heart muscle and one is the heart lining. So for people who have these health conditions, myocarditis or pericarditis, no, the observed risk is higher among males under 40 years of age than among females and older males. The observed risk is higher in males 12 to 17 years of age, although some causes require intensive care support available data short term. So these are some of the warnings, okay? Warnings that's not talked about. Autoimmunocompetence. These individuals, including individuals receiving immunosuppressant therapy, may have a diminished immune response to this vaccine. So let me explain to you what that means. Anytime you have any type of health-related chronic condition, especially if you are on immunosuppressants, that is going to diminish your cells that are there to help protect you, in particular, your lymphocytes. More detail, B and T, your T lymphocytes and your B lymphocytes. Okay, let's keep going. Radioland, you want to see these documents? I'm going to tell you how to find them. Okay, let me stop share. Let me put my face back on first. All right. I'm trying to make this real quick. So I'm going to stop share. I'm going to locate the other document that I want y'all to see. Okay, let me share let me share again. This one is Moderna. So let me blow this up. Let me go to, not there, but let me go to share. Moderna. It's going to catch up with y'all, Facebook. I'm just waiting. It's a delay. So I'm going to take my little happy face out so y'all can just focus on this document. So this says fact sheet for recipients and caregivers emergency use authorization UA of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine to prevent coronavirus disease. Now, what I want y'all to see is not so much as what it is, but what did you mention? What did you get? One of the things about Moderna, I've heard a lot of people say, I don't know what's in the vaccine, so that's why I'm not going to get it. I get that, but do the research, do the due diligence right here. Let me highlight this. What are the ingredients in a Moderna COVID vaccine? Now, I'm going to say this. Every pharmaceutical company that has applied must publicly put what's in the vaccine. The Moderna COVID-19 vaccine contains the following ingredients: messenger ribonucleic acid. I understand that very well. I'm gonna also let you know who else uses the messenger RNA vaccine. I'm gonna show you that. So this is what's in the vaccine for Moderna. Messenger RNA, lipids, SN102, polyethylene glycol, 2,000 dimesterol glycerol, DMG, cholesterol, and 1,2 disterol N-glycerol, 3 phosphocholine, trimethamine, tromethamine hydrochloride, acetic acid, sodium acetate trihydrate, and sucrose. So if you are as analytical as I am, and you do already read the ingredients on what you're putting into your system, you already know if it's something that you don't understand, you go research it and look it up and find out, all right, what the hell does this ingredient do? Moving on. Now that you know what's in it, there's something risks. Here are the risks, but I'm also looking for the health conditions. Give me a minute, y'all. So I showed y'all what was in it. Okay. That document that I was talking about, this summarizes. Tell your vaccination provider all about your medical conditions, including if you. All of these conditions, meaning if you have any of these health conditions, it's a warning sign. You have any allergies? Have you had myocarditis, inflammation of the heart, or pericarditis, inflammation of the lining outside of the heart? Do you have fevers, have a bleeding disorder, or are you on blood thinners? Blood thinners is anticoagulants. Are immunocompromised or are on medicine that affects your immune system. Biggie right here, everybody. Biggie. Are you pregnant or plan to become pregnant? Me, no. Too old for that. Are you breastfeeding? Have received another COVID vaccine? Let's talk about that. You cannot interchange your vaccinations. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to use me. I received the Pfizer vaccine, first shot. If I didn't want a Pfizer vaccine for whatever reason, I cannot go and get a Moderna. You cannot interchange your vaccines shots. 2 different companies. Well, now 4 different companies. If you're not happy with one, you can't interchange it. So when you make a educated, conscious decision on which vaccine you want to, your choice, you want to take, be very, very sure that you did your due diligence and you don't go and get something that you're going to regret later. We got 2 good ass choices that's out there. Good choices. But we got 4 options. Okay, let's take another look because I want to share something else with you. Give me a minute because I want y'all to understand this stuff. There's too many things that are going around that's risky, but people are not, I repeat, are not doing the due diligence. And that is so freaking important. You want to go on, was I heard this, I heard that. No, stop doing that. Don't go on what you heard. Do the due diligence so you can make an educated decision, and not just on this, but anything in life, really. So let's talk about the types. It's delayed. Let's talk about the types of vaccines. So we have an understanding. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for the high. So you have, remember I mentioned pharmaceutical companies, vaccines is messenger RNA. That's the one I took because I made an educated decision to go with messenger RNA because I already know how traditionally vaccines are created and how long it takes to create those vaccines. Right up my alley. That's what my degree is in, microbiology. So yes, I did the due diligence. Types of vaccines. You have messenger RNA vaccine. Contains material from the virus that causes COVID-19 that gives our cells instructions for how to make a harmless protein that is unique to the virus. After our cells make copies of the protein, they destroy the genetic material from the vaccine. Our bodies recognize that protein should not be there and build everybody, T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes that will remember how to fight the virus, the COVID-19, if you were infected in the future. Now, I'm going to say this. We lost, anybody in the military probably was paying attention to some bad news that was going on. So for us, military people and anybody in the country or around the world who knows this particular man, we lost Colin Powell, who was the first Black Secretary of State who transitioned from complications of COVID. The thing about that is this man battled cancer. The news just had it out, complications of COVID, but he battled cancer. When you have cancer, and if you understand how cancer tumor cells work, you already know it affects your immune system. Not so much that this man transitioned because of COVID, he had an underlying health condition, cancer. And we're going to get into some more about the immune system. Protein subunit vaccines include harmless pieces of proteins of the virus that causes COVID-19 instead of the entire germ. Once vaccinated, our bodies recognize the protein should not be there and build everybody, T lymphocytes and antibodies. Antibodies protect us. Antibodies are made from plasma cells. Plasma cells is created from two daughter cells that will split. Antibodies that will remember how to fight the virus that causes COVID-19 if we were infected in the future. Next, vector vaccines contain a modified version of a different virus than the one that causes COVID-19. Inside the shell of the modified virus, there is material from the virus that causes COVID-19. This is called a viral vector. Once the viral vector is inside the cells, the genetic material gives cells instructions to make a protein that is unique to the virus that causes COVID-19. Using these instructions, our cells, our body cells, make copies of the protein. This prompts our bodies to build, once again, build our immune system, T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes that will remember how to fight the virus if we were ever infected in the future. This is why the immune system is so freaking important. I hear people talking. One thing I don't do is I don't get into a conversation about why someone is not getting the vaccine. That's a personal choice. Whatever your reason is, just be educated about it. Don't go about so much as what you hear. You see what I do, just do the research. I'm no different. I do the research. I bring the research to the people so that you know. I heard so-and-so. I heard this. Stop doing that. What you heard. Go by what you know. Okay, so I'm gonna stop share again. And I want to share something else with you so that you have a better understanding. Let me get rid of that. Okay, now what I'm going to share with you, if I can find it.
Sure.
Hold on.
There it is stored in is fused with responses.
I want you to understand the immune system. So I want to share something with you. As soon as I find it.
A little bit, hold on.
Okay, I can share now. I hope I can share. All right, let's share this.
The whole time you wore glasses, they have. I hate wearing them a lot.
All right. Here is delayed Facebook. Just give it a minute. Here I am. This is one of my classes. Actually, I taught this class last night. And I want to share this with you because I taught my class last night.
Can y'all see the bottom?
On the immune
I need to
system.
move it back.
So just listen.
Thing?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, this is chapter 12. On page 322, primary lymphoid organs. We have the mature lymphocytes. They are produced in the red bone marrow and in the thymus. The secondary lymphoid tissues and organs, this is where the body's immune responses is going to occur. We got two types. B lymphocytes, red bone marrow. T lymphocytes migrates to the thymus. Your organs is going to be your lymph nodes, your spleen, and your unencapsulated tissue. You're also going to have your lymph nodes. Your lymph nodes is the filtering station to trap foreign particles to be destroyed by phagocytes. The spleen stores lymphocytes and filters the foreign particles. Your MALT, which is your mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue. You have tonsils. They trap bacteria, swell, and become inflamed. When the immune response is active, is when they're going to swell up and become inflamed. Peyer's patches, they track and attack pathogens that enter through the digestive tract. This is on page 322 in your book. Do y'all see it? Y'all good?
Yeah, 322.
Yes. Did you see it in your book?
Yes.
Okay. Page 324, 325, we have non-specific immune defenses. This is also called innate immune defense. You have two barriers. The physical barrier has to do with the skin, internal environment. The chemical barrier is going to be through secretions and excretions through the skin. The sebum is going to inhibit microbial growth. That's through your sebaceous gland. We have tears through your lacrimal ducts, gastric juices, digestive, urine, kidneys, and vaginal secretions, reproductive. Y'all good? Okay. Internal antimicrobial proteins. This is your first line of defense. You have 4. Interferons is going to limit the viral infection. The complement protein is going to enhance the immune response. The interferon is going to bind to iron so that the bacteria is not available. Once that binding happens, there's no bacteria available. The antimicrobial peptides is going to disrupt the pathogen's plasma membrane. Y'all good? Okay. Page 326, you have phagocytes and your natural killer cells. This is your second line of defense. Second line of defense, you're going to have your neutrophils and your monocytes. Your monocytes is going to become macrophages, which is your bigger cells. They are your cell eaters through phagocytosis, activated by chemicals released by cells at the site of infection. That's the only time you're going to see them. And that is called chemotaxis. Your natural killer cells attached to the surface of the infected cells secrete a toxic substance to destroy the plasma membrane. Inflammation and fever on page 326. Y'all good? Y'all good? Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. What's up with y'all? We good? Okay. Shanita,
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, yeah,
y'all good?
yeah.
Cheryl?
Yeah, I said I was good.
Okay, all right, are y'all following along in the book?
Yeah, I got my book.
Okay,
I don't got the slides. I left them in my car when they got towed by accident.
you mean your PowerPoints?
Yeah, but I got the workbook and my main textbook.
Okay. Inflammation and fever, page 326. This is the body defense mechanism overall. You may see pus, an increase in fever, increase in temperature, chronic inflammation, possibly. If it gets past if it gets past the first line of defense, the second line of defense, now we enter chronic inflammation. And a failure to eliminate the pathogens, that's what's going to cause chronic inflammation. Because this pathogen has got past the first line of defense as well as the second line of defense. Get past that, now we got a chronic problem. Questions, comments, concerns?
Just when he was talking about smoking and overweight.
Yes. Any other questions? Okay. Specific immune response, page 328. This is also called adaptive immunity. Specific pathogens is going to respond. The B lymphocytes and your T lymphocytes have antigen receptors on them. The pathogens can consist of bacteria, viruses, pollen, parasites, toxins. Each of these have a chemical marker that is known as an antigen. All of them. The immune response is going to be initiated by B cells. This is called antibody-mediated response. The immune response that's initiated by T cells is called T cell mediated response. Questions? Questions? No? Cheryl?
No, I'm with you.
Shanita?
Yes. No question.
Okay. Antibody-mediated response is also called humoral immunity. The B cell recognizes a specific antigen in the blood, the lymph, or the interstitial fluid. The antigen binds to the B cell receptors. The B cell receptors is going to create, once this binding happens, you're going to have two daughter cells. One is going to become a plasma cell, another one is going to become a B memory cell. The plasma cell is going to produce and release antibodies, also called immunoglobulins. That's another name for antibodies. The other daughter cell is going to be a B memory cell. The B memory cell is going to be member and be ready to respond for when there is an activation of the immune system. Y'all all right? Cell-mediated response, CMI, your T cell is going to recognize and respond to a specific antigen. This is going to produce cells that travel to the site of infection to be destroyed. The T cells is going to require an antigen introduction to the macrophages and the cytotoxic T cells. Y'all with me? Okay.
So B cells and T cells. And B lymphocytes.
Where am I at? Here or here?
No, I'm just trying to, because this, I think I'm figuring out where I'm getting confused. So B cells and T cells and B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes is two different things?
Mhm.
That's where I'm getting confused at.
Okay. You have your B lymphocytes. Your B lymphocytes is going to produce B cells. Your T lymphocytes is going to produce T cells.
And the B lymphocyte is like the first line of defense.
The first line of defense is here, internal antimicrobial proteins. Your first line of defense is all of these, the interferons, the complement proteins, the transferrin, and the antimicrobial peptides. Go to page 324. 324. Okay, on page 324, see where it says interferons? First line of defense, you got 4. Your interferon viruses cause disease by first invading cells of the body and then replicating these cells. Viral infected fibroblasts, macrophages, or lymphocytes produce chemicals called interferons, which diffuse out of infected cells into nearby cells. Interferons induce the production of specific proteins that shut down the ability of a virus to replicate. In this fashion, interferon production limits the spread of viral infection. That's because the interferon limits it, to shut it down. So transferrin, complement proteins, antimicrobial peptides, all 4 of these is your first line of defense.
I'm starting to figure out where I lost it.
Yeah.
Because I kept thinking B, because they kept saying B and T. So I'm like, I thought it was all one thing. That's why when you asked me that question, I was like, it makes like burst the nucleus because that's what the lymphocytes did. And that's where I got confused there.
You good now?
Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
Yeah, that's now I got it. I got
Okay,
it properly.
okay. So we're still on
Second
cell,
line. Now we're fighting for the second line of defense.
right. So we're still on cell-mediated response. You have your T memory cells, your T helper cells, your cytokines, and your suppressor T cells. Turn to page. Turn to page 329. Turn to page 329. Hey, y'all. Turn to page 329.
I heard you.
Okay. I'm gonna read from 328, but just hold on to 329. I'm looking at cell-mediated response. When a T cell recognizes and responds to a specific antigen, the process of cell-mediated immunity occurs, producing cells instead of antibodies that travel to the site of infection to destroy pathogens. Go down 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. T cells require an introduction to the antigen by antigen presenting cells, APC. Macrophages are the most common type of APC, can ingest and process a pathogen and then insert a recognizable portion of the antigen into their own cell membrane, duplication. Go down 2 lines. T cells can only recognize and bind to antigens presented in this manner. Once the binding occurs, the T cell is activated and divides and differentiates into 2 types of daughter cells, cytotoxic T and T memory cells. Cytotoxic T cells travel to the site of infection and destroy the foreign invaders. Memory T cells function the same way as B memory cells, remembering a particular antigen from an initial exposure and accelerating the immune response upon future exposure. Go down 1, 2, 3. Go down 3 lines. The T helper assists in several key immune responses by releasing special cell signaling molecules called cytokines. These chemicals, interleukin-2, which stimulates the proliferation of cytotoxic T cells and activates natural killer cells. Interleukin-4 is another cytokine released by T helper. It promotes the growth of all T cells and stimulates plasma cell production of antibodies. Suppressor T cells function as their name implies. They inhibit or shut down both B cell and T cell activity once an immune response is no longer needed. That's this. All of this under cell mediated. Y'all see that? Dominic, can you see? Okay. Acquisition of immunity. Y'all got any questions about that?
No.
Complaints, anything? No, maybe yes, yes, maybe no. Cheryl?
I said no.
Okay, Shanita?
No, I'm trying to keep up in the book.
Okay, do I need to slow down?
No, because I'm just gonna just read it and I'll write the questions down and ask you when we go in the breakout room.
Okay, all right. Acquisition of immunity, page 329. You have an increase in activated memory cells, which is going to cause an increase in cytotoxic T cells, an increase in antibody-producing plasma cells. That's it for acquisition of immunity. Everything gets activated, everything goes up.
329.
329,
Yeah, I am in hearing that, good.
okay? You good?
Yeah, you got it like, you
What you
like
say?
this one. You resume.
Reviewing,
You resume. Resume.
Reviewing,
Resume.
resuming.
Resume. Like you got it, like, you squeak it.
oh, you want me to slow down?
No. Not slow down, but I want to see exactly how you shrink it. And I
Well-
can get it in my book.
It is in your book, it's on
Yeah.
page 329.
Yeah.
Look,
But,
page 329 at the bottom.
okay.
You see that? Okay. That whole thing with acquisition of immunity, when the memory cells increase, you're going to have an increase in your cytotoxic T cells. You're going to have an increase in your antibody-producing plasma cells. Plasma cells produce what, y'all? Therapists. What do they produce?
The plasma cells?
Yes.
Right. It's like the immunity and stuff.
Yeah, but plasma cells produce what?
The first line of defense, right?
It's right here. They produce
The
antibodies. Antibodies are also called immunoglobulins.
That's the word. I said the immunity stuff. And
Yeah.
you know,
It's right here. Plasma cells produce antibodies. Okay? Natural acquired immunity, page 330, is caused by exposure to a pathogen in our activities of daily living, in our environment. It also can happen from transfer to mother and baby. It transfers to the baby, that's called passive immunity. Antibodies are produced passively to the baby from mommy. Artificially acquired immunity, page 331. This is a resistance developed through immunizations, vaccinations, where we are at today. It gets synthesized through an antigen, and that synthesization it's going to be a weak or dead pathogen that's going to stimulate an immune response, decrease the risk of introduction of an unknown pathogen. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Therapists in the class, y'all good? Okay. Now let's talk about artificially acquired immunity. The vaccinations with COVID-19. Not done traditionally. Normally it takes anywhere from 5 months up to 5 years to find a vaccination for a specific pathogen. COVID-19 attacks specific receptor cells in our body. And it depends on where the virus get to. Is it going to go uptown or downtown? If it goes downtown, the person is going to end up with a respiratory condition. They're going to end up in the hospital. If it stays uptown, they may not end up in the hospital because it's not that serious. That's why we have that 14-day stay home to see what it does. Make sense? Y'all get it? Then there is the thing with messenger RNA. This, what we're in today, the vaccine for the COVID-19 was created differently from the way vaccinations are traditionally created. This was done with messenger RNA, messenger ribonucleic acid. And that's why it's so different. compared to other vaccinations that are traditionally created for a pathogen. Okay? Next, aging and immune system. As we age, we're going to have a decrease in T cell production, which is mean everything is going to go down. A decrease in overall, a decrease in cell production. You're going to have an increase in autoimmune dysfunction. Increase in autoimmune dysfunction. As we age, stuff just decrease. Also, a high increase incidence of cancer. Y'all good?
Yeah.
Comments, suggestions?
That's because as we get older, our immune is lower, right?
Yeah, but think about all of our systems. As we age, all of our systems gets decreased. Hormones decreased. Psychoneuroimmunology, page 332. Connections between psychological processes and functioning of the nervous system and the immune system. You have your peptide communication network, that's on page 333. You have amino acid chains. Those amino acid chains is going to link to neurotransmitters, endorphins, hormones, digestive peptides, and cytokines. All of this communicates and stimulates cells by binding with receptors on their plasma membrane. Page 333. Thoughts of holistic healing, page 333. Healing is the process of returning vitality and balance that is accomplished through nutrition, exercise, rest, work, play, and good old-fashioned relationships that don't cause no stress. Moving toward good health. Y'all good?
Yes.
All right. Questions about anything we covered?
All right, I'm back. So I wanted to share that piece of information about the immune system, the vaccinations, and how you can go and look up the terms and conditions for who should get the vaccine and who shouldn't. Now I'm gonna tell you how to do it. Go to the professor. Y'all know who the professor is, right? You want to go to the professor and you want to ask the professor this: who should not get the Moderna vaccine? Who should not get AstraZeneca vaccine? Who should not get Johnson & Johnson and Jensen vaccine? Who should not get the Pfizer vaccine? Hi, Alicia, how you doing? You want to ask the professor those questions. You're going to get some answers. Another term you could do is, what is the terms and conditions of the Pfizer vaccine? What is the term and conditions of the Moderna vaccine? What is the term and conditions of AstraZeneca vaccine? What is the term and conditions of Johnson & Johnson's / Jensen vaccine? That's how you find it. You got to ask the professor specific questions. So I wanted to share this information with you just to give you some more information, or maybe some information that you didn't know, so that you can make an educated decision for yourself. Because here's the thing, it's not going nowhere. It seems like we're in this for the freaking long haul until people decide to make a decision. Moving on, enough of that. So the next thing that was on my list was hair loss solutions. This is, I should say, for men and women, but I'm just going to say hair loss. Causes of hair loss: alopecia, wigs, weaves can cause hair loss. Braids, how your hair is braided can cause hair loss. Like when you go to the African braid shops, they braiding your hair so freaking tight that your scalp hurt. I do my own hair. I don't have time to sit in the salon. And before you know it, you don't have no edges because they braided your hair too tight around here. You ain't got no edges. I know sisters who have, and there's nothing wrong with wearing braids, but I know sisters who have lost, like bad, lost their edges. Now they, option, they have to wear a wig because they lost their edges. Hi, Trina. Hey, Trina. Because they lost their edges. So now they have to wear wigs or get a hair transplant or do something. Glues. You got some women that's still using glue for the wig or the hairpiece or the front lace or whatever you want to call it. As y'all can see, I don't wear no wig, so I don't know the proper term. Then you have people who have hair thinning. Their hair is thinning. Their hair may be thinning because of a health condition, possibly. Okay. Now let's talk about some health conditions that can cause hair loss. You have thyroid disease, such as Graves' disease, PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, psoriasis, seborrheic dermatitis, anemia, and then you have some drugs that can also cause hair loss. Now, you have women who are who's concerned about, men don't care if they go bald. And then again, women like men who have bald heads. So anyway, you have some women today that have said, you know what? I'm losing my hair. I'm gonna just go get it shaved off. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. But you have other women who's not ready for that. They're not ready to give in and surrender to just going bald. They're looking for other type of solutions. So I came up with something. First, I had to do my research on. Here is the solutions that are already there for hair loss. Okay. All right, here we go. You have certain drugs that can decrease hair loss, but keep in mind, certain drugs they got side effects. Let's keep this real. Certain drugs got side effects, y'all. Then you have Rogaine, you have Propercura, you have corticosteroids that help with hair loss. You have hair transplants that help with hair loss. These are all your options. I wouldn't say they are natural options for solutions. I wouldn't say that. I will say this. For all natural hair, you want to get your hair back. And as I'm talking to y'all, I'm thinking of some sisters that I know who either have lost their hair, and they just in the front of my mind because I personally know them. They lost their hair due to front lace wigs. Because of, I know a sister who has a health condition. She got several health conditions. so her hair grows slow. Then I know of a sister who, she was sick and they had to shave all her hair off. So now she's bald and she wears wigs. I know of another sister who, for whatever reason, her hair started falling out and she's been to the doctor and it's not working. So this is what I came up with to help y'all. This is what I came up with to help y'all. If you are one of those women that I mentioned about the hair loss, I want you to call me at 267-8639. Now you may say, Carol, what am I going to call you for? That's because I have a all natural hair growth solution that can help you get your edges back, grow your hair so it's a longer length than what it is. If you have hair thinning, grow your hair. If you don't want to wear wigs no more and you're ready to start a all natural hair journey, then you need to call me so I can go into more detail with you on this all natural hair growth system, because that's what it is. It's a system. So I gave you that information. Next, I want to talk about entrepreneurship. Y'all know me. I'm always talking about entrepreneurship. So it's time, y'all. It's time. It's time for you to ask yourself these questions. What am I currently making in my 9-to-5? What's my salary in my 9-to-5? If you are making anywhere, and I'm gonna go on the low end because people really make this. If you are making anywhere between $15 an hour and $30 an hour, I want to talk to you, because I'm sure that there is something in you that you have that you can build on and increase your $15 an hour to $30 an hour income and replace it with a profit. I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and he has a good job. I'm gonna say that he has a very good job. He loves what he do. He has a passion for what he do. He's at $24 an hour. He's a true entrepreneur at heart, but he has a whole lot of freaking ideas. All his ideas is great. All his ideas is good. The problem is he can't pick which one he want to do. That's the problem. And as long as he can't make a decision on which one he want to do, he's going to be at $24 an hour. If you are in that realm, you have an idea, you got ideas, but you don't know which one, you need to get to thinking, because you're going to have to pick one, just one, and focus on that one to get you. Remember, I started out with how much money are you currently making per hour? Then I gave you a range. I said $15 to $30 an hour. And some of you may feel like, hey, I'm making over $20 an hour. I'm good. You think? You think? You're still being dictated to. You just can't walk on your job and say, hey, I want to raise. Compared to people saying you, hey, you still working on that little job? And you could say, hey, you still working at your little job, making your little $15, $20, $30 an hour? Think about it. You have an idea. Your idea is a business. You know what? I can't get you to see it. I can only tell you I see it for you because I'm there along with Trina, along with Steve, along with Mark 5. We all see it because we all do it. Mark 5. Who's Mark 5? CEO of Sador Radio. CEO of Sador Photography. Steve. Who is Steve? Mr. Cryptocurrency himself, along with everything else he do. Out here helping people. Trina. Who is she? Trina owns her own spa. Very successful. And then we ain't gonna talk about me. My list too long. I like to highlight other entrepreneurs. And my statement for you is, if you watching this, whether you watching this on YouTube, whether you hear me on the Sador Radio, whether you watching me on Facebook, or you watching this on LinkedIn, or you watching this on Amazon Fire Stick, whether you watching this on Roku, whether you watching this on JBO TV, if we can do it, so can you. Because we started out with an idea. The only difference is that we went after it. You still sitting on yours. Stop sitting. Don't sit. A lady once asked me this question. I didn't know the answer. She said, where is the richest place at on earth? That was a business coach that said that to me. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't know where the richest place on earth was. And you probably don't either, unless you heard this before. Richest place on earth is the graveyard. Think about that, y'all. The richest place on earth is the graveyard. Why? Because people die with their ideas. We have too much to do while we are here. We only get one life. Make the best of it. It doesn't matter how fast you get there. It's not about fast. It's about the journey. Everybody has a success story, no matter how little, no matter how big. But step outside your box and think outside your box so that you can have a journey outside of a job and have a journey in your own business. So that's my time. That's what I want to share. I'm back. Thank you, everybody, for showing me love. Thank you, everybody, for your prayers. Thank you, everybody, for your blessings. I appreciate it so much. I'm recovering from my surgery. I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. I just have to follow instructions. Last thing I want to share that was shared with me last night. Trina, I didn't tell you this morning. I should have said something, but I was trying to keep my mouth shut. But I don't want you to feel like, well, you could have told me. So I'm going to share this with everybody. I have been nominated as the Educator of the Year, Trina and the Spy Boss Tribe. Nominated. To me, I'm heart happy. It's a nomination, and I'm just proud of that. Very proud that I made the list to be nominated as Educator of the Year in the Spy Boss Tribe. What else I want to share? If you have not already seen my post, I'm also a contributing writer for Vision Made magazine. The next, I believe it's a quarterly magazine. So the next magazine that comes out, I will be sure to share the link where you can go get it. And what else? Oh, I do have an ebook. Actually, it's an ebook and a class on how to make 24-hour money. It's called ATM money. So I will be posting how you can make some ATM money. It is a book as well as a class. So if you want to know, like, hey, what can I do to make me some money while I'm asleep? This book is going to tell you how. So it's a class. It's my time, y'all. I got to go. I'm over my time. You have been listening to the Let's Talk with Carolyn radio show on Sador Radio. You can tune in with me every Tuesday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is. Or you can just tune in with us on the radio by downloading the Sador Radio app on your iPhone or your Android phone. Or you can just tune in with me here on Facebook by turning on your notifications, but also sharing the broadcast, because I always try to give you good content, information that you can use, information that you can share with someone else so you could bless someone else. So I will see y'all later, and I'm going to give Radio Land some more house music. Take care, everybody. I will see y'all later.